Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello! I got a big hello today. Hello! Pee-wee, Rob Procaccini, Johnny Albanese, Paul Meinberg. A member. Thank you. Now Procaccini's not a member. He don't have any money to do that, bro. He's too busy.
Doug Doyle.
QCB's Doug Doyle. Gabe Fox in there. Come on, I don't see QCB as a member yet. You know what? They don't realize how much work goes into this roof. You know what I mean? Gator arms.
River
I'm
Rat.
going to hear about one more overtime tour that Procaccini worked, bro. I'm going to fucking vomit. There we go. River Rat. 652. Welcome, bro. He's a member. Paul Meinberg. Member. Rob Procaccini.
Not a member.
Cricket. Yeah.
Wait, do I have that? I think I have something like that.
Let me do. I'll tee it up for you. Rob Procaccini. Thanks, man.
Oh, he's doing this. He's actually doing this.
But you know what? He's going down to Myrtle Beach for 3 weeks.
That's what he's doing. All the Scott Oles going down there. Huh?
Yeah, right. $5.95 to become a member. Can you even get a bagel and a cup of coffee for $5.95?
$4.95. Will you get it straight? What are you doing?
I'm just saying. Can you get a cup of coffee for $4.95? You can't even get a cup of coffee and a bagel for $4.95. But yet you're going to get all original.
I went to a reunion.
You did. Well, God bless you.
Well, God bless you.
180 guys, bro.
From where? I saw something that said the busiest company in the world, history of the world.
I still don't know what's the name.
Don't you think that's a little? Oh boy, here it is. What do we got? World's busiest fight. Did you see what I wrote?
Did you mail one of those shirts to me?
I might have one.
Or even Coops. I mean, come on.
Just a free T-shirt.
That's right. You know, I don't want to pay for any of that shit.
I got two guys.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have a straight face when you had that shirt printed up? The world's busiest.
Two guys I got.
Two guys what?
I got two guys out of all those guys. I had Steve Luisi cornered. I don't think he's going to do it. I had.
No, I'm saying to you, when you had those shirts printed up, did you do it with a straight face?
You.
When you wrote
Did you realize that I heard you, but I didn't hear you. You understand what I'm saying?
All right. I wrote in the world.
I saw what you did.
In the world.
That was.
I don't want to say it anymore. Play the commercial. Maybe it'll inspire Procaccini to take $4.95 out of his fucking pocket and he can pay for the membership.
Oh, did we move it? You can't move that shit.
I moved it to the top.
Oh, you did? You son of a bitch. Okay.
Yes.
Here we go.
Looking to take your love for the fire service to the next level? Then join the Gettin Salty Experience YouTube Premium Membership Club, where the stories burn hotter and the history runs deeper. As a member, you'll unlock exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, from History with Hashhagen, where we dive into legendary FDNY fires and the men who fought them, to feature-length documentaries spotlighting the rich and gritty history of the FDNY, told the way only Gettin Salty can. You'll also get early access to special interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and members-only perks designed with our most loyal followers in mind. Joining is easy. Just hit that join button right in our YouTube channel and become part of the Brotherhood. Support the show, celebrate the job, get and stay salty.
There you go. No, they know enough. They know enough about the history of the Halligan. They don't need to know no more. That's fine.
No, right. Some other people do.
Yeah. You know what? Play my little man. I talked to Vince today. I love that guy.
Oh, that guy, Mr. Rep Northeast.
He asked me what's going on. I said, you didn't send me any information. He goes, what information do you need? I got to know the product. I can't go out there and I don't even know the name of the product. I'm calling it tic-tac-toc, whatever the hell it is.
Tic-tac-toe. Circle gets a square.
Yeah.
Or X gets a square.
The name of the company.
Yeah. How about
Armatac?
Yeah, how about you send me that? Armatac. I called it Armatac last time. Whatever.
Son of a bitch. All right, let's get it. Here we go.
Need a new floor for your fire station? Choose an armor-tough interlocking flooring system to cover your aging, stained, cracked concrete or epoxy floor. Around for nearly 20 years and proven to be the best choice in renovating your station floors, covering nearly 600 floors across the country, ArmorTough is proudly made in America and comes with a lifetime warranty with floors that are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, and no disruption in the process to your station's operations. Our system is guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. If you damage one tile, you can lift and replace without anyone knowing. And once it's installed, your floor would be easy to clean with just soap and water. It's not only for apparatus rooms. You can install an ArmorTough floor in virtually any room and choose from the hundreds of colors from the Designer Series or, if you like, from the Utility Series floor coverings. Are you in need of gear racks, an extractor, or gear dryers? Install an ArmorTough floor in your apparatus bay and take full advantage of a deep discount, saving you thousands of dollars on any of the Grove products line. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that'll need replacing in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? The ArmorTough flooring system is half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue, more importantly. Join the hundreds of career and volunteer departments nationwide who have chosen an ArmorTough interlocking tile floor. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
We got the cheese man in the chat. Cheese! Didn't we lock you in the dumpster? Yeah, I got out. All right, let's play Jimmy's commercial really quick. Then we'll get the captain in here. Yeah, I talk to Jimmy all the time now. His kid's a fireman in Newark. The kid's going to work left and right, bro.
Yeah, he was sending me a bunch of photos. He was actually down here not too long ago.
Good Lord. The kid's living La Vida Loca. Do it.
All right, here we go.
Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com.
Bingo. All right, let's get him in here, Ruff. You got a guy with a lot of stories, both fire and non-fire funny stories. But the man's been to a lot of busy companies.
You ready, guys? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Coming to the stage, Captain Steve Elliott.
Woo! Welcome. With the girls, so like throwing a panties.
Oh, you want what's that? What's a little longer?
Yeah.
Now I gotta let it fight out a couple more seconds now.
He's a movie star.
Yeah.
Look out, panties coming up.
Dude, it's my pussy. It's my pussy. No, that's my pussy. That's my pussy.
Welcome
Eddie
to
Murphy
the
for
show,
you guys.
Cap.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, anytime. But before we get deep into the weeds here, we got to get patriotic since we are on the move. USA, baby.
All right.
Doing it. Greatest country in the history.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice.
Darren Phillips joined us. There he is. Member, by the way. Darren Phillips.
Remember, everybody that's in green is a member. So
Right.
thank you, guys.
Well, I can see who's not in green. It rhymes with Procaccini. But go ahead. All right. All right, let's start way back because this man's dad was on the JOB for 30 years. So let's go back. Let's go back as far as high school. He was an upstate guy, right?
Upstate. That's it. I used to say Suffolk County North to the city guys. They used to break my balls and say, "Yeah, where do you live, kid?" I said, "I live in Brewster." They said, "Yeah, that's upstate." I go, "No, it's not. 90% of the state is north of Brewster." They're like, "That's upstate. You crossed the fucking bridge." Okay, fair enough.
Brewster. So that's up by Westchester somewhere up that way?
Yeah, it's
Brewster?
about 40 miles from the Bronx. Yep, Suffolk North, I call it.
The Bronx.
The Bronx.
So we don't got to ask you what kind. Oh, you went to what school did you go to?
I went to Brewster High School. Yeah.
Beautiful.
One famous person, former alum, is Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos. If you ask him, he'll tell you he's from Mount Vernon, but he went to Brewster High School.
You don't say Brewster.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Spider.
Did you know him from school, or was he a different year than you?
Nah, I never heard of him.
No. I like it.
It was an English class, right? It was an English class or math?
All right, so we know how you got into the job, right? Your old man was on the job?
Yeah, my father did 30 years.
Wow.
He pushed me to take the test, and I actually took the test for the fire department when I was in high school. I was like 17 years old.
Yeah,
it's a great picture of the old man in the that's the 5th Division, Frank Fellini. So my father started out in 50 engine.
What size are his fucking feet? God
yeah,
damn,
he's a big man. And
that's your dad on the left?
On the right. The deputy is Frank Fellini. Yeah, my dad is the boss with the helmet on. Yeah.
All right.
So he started out in 50 engine when they had 2 sections.
Right.
He did a year in Vietnam, and then he came home in 1967. He went to 50 engine. They had 2 sections. Then he went across the floor to 19 truck. Then he eventually went to 39 truck, got promoted, went to 80 engine as a lieutenant, which is the same house that I finished up in, 80 and 23.
Ah, look at that. Oh,
and
now you know what? Now that I look at this roof, it's starting to click. I might be not smart, but I can put this together. You know,
putting them together.
I'm smart, Mike.
Yeah. So then he went to a 37 truck in the Bronx, and he retired at a 52 engine in 1997.
52.
Long career, man. You have
52.
any other brothers?
Riverdale, right? Riverdale.
No, that's it. Just me. Yeah.
Is that 52 and 52?
Yes, sir. Right off the Henry Hudson. The 52s.
B-52s. That was the first company that ever had the same number in the same house way before 10 and 10. 52s.
Right.
Riverdale, right?
Yes, Riverdale. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, so you take the test and then you shove off as a Marine.
Yes. So I decide to my high school had Navy ROTC. So while I was in high school, we had the whole program where you learn about the customs and the courtesies of the military. I had instructors that were Marines, and they sent us on class trips to do Marine Corps boot camp, Navy boot camp, and officer candidate school. So for 4 years in high school, I was fully immersed for a week in all these programs. And I said, that's what I want to do.
Cool.
So I tried to get into the Naval Academy. My dream was to play football at the Naval Academy, and I didn't get in. So I decided maybe I'll try the reserves. And my father wanted me to do reserves. He wanted me to go to college, and he told me, the fire department's going to call you. You just got to wait.
Right.
And I don't think I realized how easily that was going to come about. Didn't know how long it was going to take. So I enlisted in the Marine Reserves. So we did. There's my boot camp.
Wow.
Look at that guy, man.
18 years old and about 160 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Looks like he just snuck over the boat. No Bicky Bonnie, no Bicky Ingy, Bicky Bonnie. What is that over there?
So
wow.
I went to boot camp, which was 13 weeks of hell, and then I went to the School of Infantry, and after that I came home and I went to school. I went to Western Connecticut in Danbury, Connecticut.
Did you go to Paris Island for boot camp?
I did. That's where all Marines east of the Mississippi go.
All Marines east of the
So what is this? This is Desert Storm, right? Then
this is in Desert Storm. Yeah. So I'm in college. I do a year of college.
Right.
And Iraq invades the country of Kuwait in the summer of 1990. And I get a phone call on a Thursday night, and they said, pack your shit, take your car off the road, and fill out a will. We're leaving this week.
Really?
I think we had like 4 days notice. and they shipped us off to Pendleton in Southern California. So we go out to Camp Pendleton, and they haven't activated reserves since the Korean War. And I think back then the president only had authorization to activate reservists for 90 days. So we go to California, and they send us out into the desert to do operations and fire weapons round the clock for 3 weeks straight. And then they tell us, all right, next week we're going to get on the ships in San Diego. Ships? No, man, I'm in the reserves. They can't do that to us. And that became the running joke. They can't do that to us.
They can't. There's no.
We were in Hawaii, and they said,
kind of fits pretty good in the FDNY, too.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't do that to the firemen. Yeah, so they activate us. They ship us off to Hawaii, and the next thing you know, we say, all right, now we're going to the Philippines. Philippines? I got to go back. I got class next semester. I got to get back. And then when we leave the Philippines, they said we're going to go to the Persian Gulf, and the president extended the 90 days to, I think, 360 days. So we were in it for the long haul.
Wow.
So then we go to go ahead.
Sally Davy.
Cool.
He went to Camp Pendleton. I remember him talking about that. He did the same thing. Yeah.
You didn't buy yourself a wife in the Philippines like I did you?
I did not.
Hey, I don't.
So we get to the Persian Gulf, and they have us do a rehearsal amphibious landing in the country of Oman. So now we're like, this shit's real. And then we go to Kuwait, and we land in Saudi Arabia. We spend, I guess, I don't know, about a month or two in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and those were the photographs that I put in there. That's a great photo of my fire team with our Humvee behind us. I'm in the center. The guy to the right of me is currently the police commissioner in the Yonkers Police Department.
No shit.
Yeah.
You look kind of badass there.
Yeah, we were hungry and tired and cold and wet.
Mm-hmm.
This is an airfield that we had taken. We utilized Cobra helicopters to take out this airfield. And you can see that there's no roof on that hangar. That was an airplane hangar. And these are Russian T-72 tanks, like 70-era tanks that the Iraqis had used. And, of course, we destroyed quite happily.
Nice.
Well, that was kind of like I remember that. I mean, the war, like they were kind of giving up. I mean, I know there was fighting and stuff, obviously, but
yeah, we took a lot of surrenders. Yeah,
right. I remember that.
They were hungrier and more tired than we were, and they were happy to surrender. That last photo, it's hard to believe that we landed in Kuwait the same way, the same technology that they used in 1944 in World War II. That's an amphibious craft where it's just packed with Marines, and they lower that ramp, they beach it, and then we just walk like right off.
When they stormed Normandy, right?
It's unbelievable, yeah.
What did that feel like, getting off that thing, like actually going to something?
Bizarre, to be on that craft and think that this is the same way they did it in Normandy. Of course, we didn't have the same defense. That we didn't meet with machine gun fire when we got off of the thing, but it was the same technology, and it's still utilized today, which is hard to believe. The guy that invented those things was actually a fisherman down in New Orleans, and I think his name was Higgins, and they call those things Higgins boats.
Higgins, right?
And he invented those because they were like in the swamps and in the deltas, and they were going for crawfish and shrimp, and they're very low, and they don't draw a lot of water, and then you can lower the ramp and you can drive vehicles off. And troops. Cool. Yeah, good.
So how long were you there? I mean, you guys went all the way through, and then they stopped you before you got into Baghdad, right?
Well, some of the Army went into Iraq. The Marine Corps, we went into Kuwait. We liberated Kuwait City.
Oh, you went into Kuwait. That's right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we liberated Kuwait City. So then after that,
with the oil things burning, like right.
It was it's one of those photographs there. Those oils, the oil wells were burning all the time. That top photo there, that's midday. You see the color of that sky?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How were the Kuwaiti people? Were they happy to see you guys? Were they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They met us with open arms. Yeah.
I'm sure. How about the women? Were they throwing themselves at you?
I didn't see any women. We stayed far away from that. Yeah.
Well, you couldn't see them. They're all covered up in there.
Exactly. You see the eyes on her?
Yeah. Sexy eyes on that one. Very hairy feet, though. I don't know.
Knuckles.
Hairy knuckles.
Yummy.
So how long are you there for then?
We were only in Kuwait for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then they put us back on the ships. And then they sent us to Somalia because
Holy shit, you were out there doing it, Stephen.
We were doing it. We had to evacuate the U.S. Embassy in Somalia. And if you recall, in 1993, 2 years later, they had the incident with the Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's uncle was actually an ambassador in that embassy there during the Black Hawk Down. He had to get his family out of there in a chopper to get him out.
Well, why didn't he leave when we came? We were there in 91. We evacuated the embassy. Yeah. And then we left Somalia and we thought, this is great. We're finally going home. And a typhoon had come through the Indian Ocean and hit the country of Bangladesh, which is just east of India. And it killed 150,000 people.
What? Oh my wow!
Yeah, you don't remember hearing that one, right? Like,
nah.
Yeah, that was summer of '91. That was probably one of the top 10 deadliest typhoons in the history of the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got sent to
doing the world, saving countries, typhoons.
Yeah. So we went there for humanitarian efforts, and then we went to the Philippines again after that. And Mount Pinatubo erupted, the volcano in the Philippines. I said, man, we're never going home.
I just want to run into burning buildings.
90 days turned into.
Yeah. So we got shirts made up that said 5th Marine Save the World Tour, like a concert shirt. Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah. So then we get home, and we got home in July 3rd. Next day was 4th of July, which was appropriate. We had a nice party. And I called my investigator. And they said, there's going to be a class next month in August. Good news and bad news. I go, what's the bad news? She goes, you haven't had a medical in 6 months. They expire. So you can't go into the next class. I said, wait, hold on. Time out. I got called twice when I was 20. My list number, I was at the top of the list. I got called twice when I was 20, and I had to defer because they said, you can't be a fireman at 21. We can give you a rifle and send you to a far-off land.
Yeah.
But you can't be a fireman.
Go kill your Bangladesh. You can't put out no fires.
Exactly. It makes no sense.
Come on, man.
Such an arbitrary rule. And then they had another class in April, and I missed that class because I was deployed. So, of course, I told my father, I said, yeah, they're not going to put me in the next class. They're going to defer me again. And he said, no, that's bullshit.
And Dad went like this. Hold on, son.
So as luck would have it, when my father was a fireman,
I love it.
Luck is a beautiful thing. When my father was a fireman in 50 engine, he had a captain named Carlos Rivera.
Oh, Commissioner.
And it just so happened to my luck that he was the fire commissioner in 1991.
Wow.
So my father made a phone call, and lo and behold, they had an opening for a medical exam. I got a new physical, and on August 11th, I was in the fire academy.
What an amazing set of circumstances that happened. That's crazy.
Very unusual set of circumstances.
Wow.
Every time somebody mentions it, it kind of baffles me. I'm still kind
of So you go to Proby school, which must have been a joke by then. You was coming from Paris Island. You're like,
yeah, it was 8 weeks. It was a little bit of a joke. I actually was treating my squad. They made me a squad leader. I treated them like they were a bunch of Marines, and they looked at me like, what's wrong with this fucking guy?
Yeah. Anybody in your class
around in the sand, baby?
Any famous guys,
famous? I don't know about famous, but there's. I'll tell you what. There's only a few of them left.
Really?
Doug Batterberry is in. I think he's in 303. I don't know if you guys know Doug. He's still around. You got Tommy Canine in 75 engine. Murph in Rescue 3. There's only a handful of guys left.
Yeah. How big was the class?
Only 100.
Oh, all right.
Johnny Berengier in that class?
I don't remember that name.
No.
Yeah.
So you had to be on my list then. You were on my that was the 87 test?
Yes, it was.
So what was my number was 1752.
My list number was
93.
414.
Wow. Woo! Look, he wasn't fooling around there, bro.
I wasn't fooling around. Yeah, so
you're in Proby school and they call your name and they're like, oh,
yeah, dirty truck. Yeah. Luck again. Yeah, lucky. Yeah, some guys get lucky,
So what happened? The old man.
Oh my God! You look just as young as you did when you were in the.
Oh, thanks, brother. So you probably don't believe me, but I didn't know where 30 Truck was because my father didn't talk to me in Proby school about where I was going to go or where he wanted me to go. He just, let the cards fall. Of course, he made some phone calls,
Right.
and he wanted me to go to 30 truck because he knew the chiefs in the 16th battalion. So you had Frank Griffin. He was the battalion commander. He was a salty old bastard. He survived the Jennings Street collapse. So up in the Bronx by 82 Engine, there was a building that collapsed, and I think 5 or 6 men were trapped. And he was one of the guys, and he was burnt horribly on his backside. He survived that collapse. He was the 1/6 battalion commander when I got there. Then you had Nick Visconti, who later became a staff chief.
Guy. Great guy.
My father worked with him in 50 Engine. They were probies together. You had Bernie Cassidy and Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy became a deputy, and he was one of the authors of Ladders 3.
Right. Well,
So-
when you walked in there, did you say that to the guys? Like, listen, I don't even know what this fucking place was, bro. You know?
Worse.
Nicolello had to
Cubes.
tell you, like, listen, I don't know what the fuck you guys do. I never even heard of dirty truck.
Cubes, it's worse. So we're in probie school, and they tell us all, go to your firehouses. We're graduating tomorrow. You got to go to your firehouse, bring a cake, knock on the door, introduce yourselves, and get your group number, blah, 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 right? So I go to the firehouse, and they're not there. So I knock on the door, and I wait, and I think I had my the guy I did the carpool with me. So we waited for like an hour and a half, and the companies didn't come back, so they must have been out of fire. So I said, we got to go, because we had to go to his firehouse, and I figured I got to go home. I'll go visit the firehouse tomorrow night. I wasn't thinking. So the next day we graduate from the academy, and I go to the firehouse with my parents and the girl I was dating. The men were not happy.
No cake?
No, I had a cake, but the men were not happy.
No.
So we get to the front door, and who answers the door but the captain? Abe Heyman was my captain, and he was a fireman in 71 Engine, a lieutenant in 28 truck. He worked in the war years, and he worked with my father, and him and my father embrace in a big hug, and he invites us into the kitchen, and we're sitting at the kitchen. I got my mom, the girl I'm dating, my dad, and all the guys start filtering into kitchen. And now, mind you, I'm 21 years old, and the captain is pouring me a cup of coffee. You want some milk and cream with that? The men were not happy with me.
You didn't know? You were a kid.
I didn't know. They were very upset.
They don't you forget that. They just, we'll let him forget that one.
Yeah. So I got my group number. I left the firehouse, and I paid dearly for it for the next
Came back,
12
your
months.
locker was in the street.
Exactly. So I remember one of my first runs. I don't know if it was the first run or the second run. A first grade class had come to the firehouse, school kids, and one of the guys says, "Hey, Proby, I want you to show them the rig, open every compartment, and show them every tool. It'll help you, be familiar with the rig, and it'll bore the shit out of them, and they'll leave." So the kids, we get a run. I usher the kids out of the firehouse. Let's go. You got to go. You got to go. We have a run. We got a report of a fire. I run back. I close the compartments in the rig. I get dressed. I jump on the rig.
No.
And we tear out of the firehouse. We make the left onto Lennox Avenue, and the entire contents of the rear compartment empties out onto Lennox Avenue.
I knew you were going to say that.
And the beat goes on, baby.
Nothing like starting off your first day. Yeah. So we get back to quarters.
Guys, this is what not to do. Don't bring your
This is
mother
what
and your
not to
girlfriend
do.
out the captain point.
You can always learn
Make
something on the
sure
show.
you close the
and
compartments.
close the compartment door your first tour.
I knew you were going to say that.
So we get back to the firehouse, and they send me around the corner with a radio, and I was basically begging
Picking
and
up.
borrowing to purchase all the tools that spilled onto the avenue from the locals in the neighborhood. Yeah, so I think I spent my
Hey,
first
Jerome,
paycheck.
give me that Halligan back.
Yeah,
So did any of the, obviously some of the guys there, besides the captain, that knew your dad, right? Did they knew you were in the military, right? So
my father knew all four of the officers. Captain Heyman, he was the captain at the time. Then you had Jack McDonald. Is a photograph with me and Jack when I was getting my 30 patch. Jack was a fireman in 28 truck. He did a life-saving rope rescue. He got a Gordon Bennett for it. He wound up becoming a battalion chief and the president of the union. He was a great instructor, great fire officer, and he was a big mentor to me the time I was there. And then you had Gary Wright. He was the lieutenant. He was also a fireman in 28. And Kenny O'Brien was a fireman in 56 truck. So these guys were all from the neighborhood of the Bronx. My father knew them all, and they knew their job. They knew it well. Yeah.
Did you feel like they were a little tougher just because they knew you were, your dad, and they knew that you were in the military, just to not, you know what I'm saying, in a good way, tough in a good way at that point, right? They want
you
to
could
make
say
sure.
that. I was
Right?
very intimidated. You had guys, everybody there was twice my age. You had guys there that had children that were my age.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was intimidating.
When did you meet Nick?
Nick the Dick. I remember he was on vacation, and I think the first time I saw him, we were out on a run, and he drove past the rig, and he screamed at me, "I gotta babysit you!" Yeah, he drilled us hard. He took that rig out every single tour, rain or shine. He drilled with us. He taught us our trade and made sure we knew what we were doing and where we were going.
You ever run into a guy in your career that loved the job as much as him?
No,
That
never.
guy lived.
Listen, I met a lot of guys.
It runs through his veins, bro.
He's the type of guy you could go to Chicago, Boston,
Yeah.
Detroit, and drop his name, and guys go,
Oh, everybody knows that guy.
I
No
know.
matter where you go.
It's unbelievable.
Or they'll ask you, "Hey, do you know Nick?" I'm like, I know.
It's
Nick.
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great.
Who else do you think that you took you under their wing, kind of thing? You know what I mean? Who else did you feel like there was guys a little younger than? How much time did Nick have at that time? Or Keith? I mean, how much?
I tell you, he probably only had like 12 to 15 years.
Yeah,
but he acted like he was the senior man. He wasn't the senior man, but he acted like he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there younger guys that you felt like you like?
Well, were you the only
Trusted
probie
you.
there?
But they put my class in, and then 4 weeks later they put another class in. So 4 weeks after I graduated, Craig Thweet came to the firehouse. So we were both probies together.
Nice.
And we were there together for 6 years before another probie came.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what about the middle of the road guys? Any guys in the middle of the road? Like that's what Louis was saying, that you kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many. Al Grogan is one of the photographs that I'm going to show you. Al was a great mentor. He was a wonderful fireman, a family man. Everything about him, I say, is with the utmost of respect. And then, lo and behold, 25 years later, his kid gets on the job, and he sends him to 23 truck.
No
and
shit.
one of the proudest moments of my career.
I love that shit, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love that shit.
Yeah. So, here's a kid that he trained and broke in, and now his that's his kid's captain.
Trust you enough to do that to his friend.
Right.
Right? I mean, what else
no greater respect.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Gons, any pictures of the 30 truck that we've been talking that you're not paying attention?
I'm paying attention. You said you're going to show them later.
If you want to throw up some of those photos, I'll talk about those photos.
I was waiting, you dick.
Craig, if I remember right, because we had Craig on. He was in the military, right? Or his dad was a military guy, if I remember.
I think his father was in the military. His father was in 28 truck, highly respected man. So here's a photo. This is pre-bunker gear. So we're wearing the rubber boots, and we wore our harnesses right over our dungarees. And
so give me the lineup there. Who's that?
That's myself. And then next to me is Anthony Shallow. I was in his groups. Then Kenny Herring, two men that I really looked up to and respected. They trained me, worked with me all the time. Then Nicolello and Al Molinari is the last one. I think Al's still on the job.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you know any of those guys.
We have just a picture of the old school rig back in
Yeah,
the
that
day.
was our first rig. That was a Mac. And I think the striking thing about this photograph, if you look in the background, every single one of those buildings is vacant.
I'm looking at that. They're all bricked up, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying in the background there's a bunch of tools on the floor there. I don't know.
Is that how?
A couple of guys running off with the tools in the back.
Elliott must have been working.
Yeah, Steve, did you feel like that's most of the buildings were like that in the area when you got there? Or was it
Not
changed?
most of them were vacant. I think we probably had 150 vacant buildings in our first two areas.
Wow.
But predominantly tenements, then brownstones and projects. Yeah, so I got a good mix of building construction and types. Yeah,
Right.
And then my second day tour, we caught a job my first day.
You caught a job on your first day?
My first day, we caught a job. So this is before they had the fast truck. There was no such thing as a fast truck. So if you were third due, you got put to work. So we get there third due, and they sent us to the upper floors. We did searches, and then I think we went down to the fire department to pull ceilings. But we would go to fires all the way south to 115th Street and get put to work, where 26 truck is. And we'd go to 43 truck and 40 truck and 23 truck, 34 truck, 28 truck. We'd go to the Bronx, 55 truck. We'd be third due, and we'd get put to work. Wow. And then they invented the fast truck, and that ended that. So then you were third due, you were standing in the street, which we didn't appreciate. So, yeah, my first day tour, we caught a job. Then my second day tour, we catch another job, and 28 truck is out. So it's one of their boxes. We get in first due, and 69 had the line. And I think it was up on 141st Street and 7th to 8th Avenue. And we get into the apartment, and the officer hands me a dead kid. We go out in the hallway. I'm doing CPR. The kid was like 3 years old. And then the boss came out with his brother, who was like 5 years old. So that was my second day in the job, 2 dead kids. Yeah.
That'll leave a mark on you.
Yeah, it was a crazy way to start your career. And then I came home and told my father about that. And he says, well, I guess if you're not going to quit after this, you're not going to quit.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically get used to seeing that.
So you got a class. Crazy. Let's talk about the Class 2 medal you got while you're in.
I don't have any good pictures of that fire. That fire was in a project.
How long were you on by then?
Maybe 5-6 years.
Oh, all right.
We were at a box, and we were taken up, and we were backing out of the block because of double parked cars, and civilian pointed up and said, yeah, fireman, look, there's a fire. So we got into the building. Another situation where 28 truck, I think, should have been first due on a ticket, but we wound up getting in first. And the chauffeur, John Barry, crackerjack fireman, excellent fireman, he says to me, I think the stick is going to reach that window. It was fire was on the 8th floor. So he put the rig up onto the sidewalk, and he was able to get the Larial straight up to the 8th floor, and I had the OV. So I went up, I got to the windows, and the company was in the public hall waiting for a line. And I asked the chief, I said, you want me to take these windows? He said, no, don't take the windows yet. Hold up. So I just opened the window. I slipped in, and there was a woman unconscious on the floor right underneath the window.
Wow. So
I took her back out onto the tip of the aerial, and because that was the only room that wasn't on fire, the one we put the aerial to. And I held her on the tip of the aerial. She was unconscious, so there's no way I was carrying her down there.
Hell no, man.
No way.
Not without going down yourself.
I don't think I could have carried a teddy bear down that thing.
You would have taken the express route down.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I just held her on the tip of the aerial, and then after the brothers put the fire out, we went back into the window and then took her in the interior.
She make it?
She made it. I think she was like 70 years old. Yeah, she survived. Yeah.
Tough old bird.
Yeah. Well, those women, they went to more fires than I did.
You would get there, open up the door, the woman would be like, yeah, it's 2 rooms in the back on the left. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what, Ruffy?
And I got my face piece on.
Taking her down that area would be like putting on a Santa Claus suit and going down the pole, bro.
It wouldn't have been pretty.
I have to say this. So I think I've said this before on the podcast. So I got on May of '93, and I was just like throwing myself into the job, right? I loved the whole thing, fires, right? Wasn't Buffy about the rig and what year and the engine and all this other bullshit. I just wanted to know who was working, right? I just wanted to learn. And I say this, I remember sitting in the watch. Even I would obviously always take the watch. Whoever had the senior guy was, when I was working, I would take the watch, and I would listen to the radio, and it would scan, right? Obviously, it would be on Queens, but if they weren't talking on Queens, it would scan, and I would in Manhattan, boop, box 1247, box boop, box 1435, right? All hands going to work. And then it would come over the bitch box, second alarm in the borough of Manhattan, 138th Street and 6th Avenue, right? It was just over and over and over, like to ridiculousness. And I would look at the map. We had the map with all the firehouses, right? Yeah. And I would, like, you just made me think about this before. 28, 30, 23.
Very close together.
I mean, when you think about, you guys had to be running in, like we ran in with the same companies, but not always. You guys are running in with the same. If you stayed in your groups, you were probably seeing the same guys.
Absolutely.
Multiple times a 24, right? And it was just like this incredible. And I remember saying, like, after, like, I think I was there probably like 3 years. I was in 117 in Astoria. And I'm like, I got to start thinking, I wanted to do more work, and I put in for 30. I put in for 33 truck. I went to go see the captain, but I remember thinking, like, like that was incredible. How and that's in 91, 2, 3, right? I mean, and that went on for a few years. So it started obviously like everybody, started dying down, but I remember it was every day,
in 1991, 40 truck was number 1 in the city for OSWs.
Which one?
40 truck.
Yeah.
They were number 1 in the city, and we ran in with them all the time. So they were on 125th Street. There were 3 firehouses on 125th Street. You had 35 and 14, right. 36 engine were by themselves. They got closed in 03.
Oh, they were back around the corner from each other, right?
Right around the corner. They were 250 feet away from each other.
Right.
And then on the west side on 125th Street, you had 37 and 40. And we were on 133rd Street. 80 and 23 is on 139th Street. 69, 28 is on 143rd Street. These firehouses are right on top of each other. And Manhattan at the top of the island is only a mile wide.
Now, how were they like? Because I know the Bronx is like, it's your first, whatever you are on the ticket, that's what you do. Brooklyn is like, I get there, I'm first due. What was it like up there? And
so we were gentlemen. If we were first due on the ticket, or excuse me, if we were second due on the ticket, and we got in, and their first due company was nowhere in sight, then we would take it. But if we saw them coming, we're not going to cut them off. We're going to wait, let them in the block, and if we had any details on the rig from Brooklyn, we would drive even slower. Because you knew that they were going crazy in the back of the rig, going, "What are these fucking guys doing?"
But you know what? In. Again, if you're working so closely with these companies, 290, 103, to get to 107, it's like 30 blocks, 40 blocks. Like it's some ridiculous thing.
We would go 5 blocks in any direction.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you weren't first due anymore.
Right, that's crazy. So you would think that's where I think that comes from, even in the Bronx, is you're so close that it would be stupid to try and screw somebody out of something just because.
Right. Wait a minute. Timeout, bro. When I was in 210, here's 210, here's 209 and 102. They were close, bro. And they would come down Myrtle Avenue, one of the first ones I ever had. I was leaning back like this because I thought it was going to be a crash, but I'm like, holy fuck! And it was down like a block
over
like
Over there, they're a little closer. They're a little closer over there.
It's different world. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's interesting how different areas of the city act so differently.
Yeah.
Different
boroughs.
boroughs.
Engines.
When you talk to the guys who were there for a while when you got there, what did they say it was like during the fucking war years over there, man?
They would tell stories that were unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And meanwhile, you think you're going to fight, like you were going. To fight, right?
Yeah.
You think like, holy shit, like it's got to be comparable.
I can't imagine it busier than this.
You can't imagine, right?
No,
you can't imagine it.
But it was because these guys knew their job and they knew it well.
I listened to the old audio and I laughed myself hysterical, man. Like there's companies going all over the place, man. And there's no available companies. Right. Send me what you got. I only got a truck.
My father told me the night Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, there was like 13 all hands or greater fires in the 16th Battalion. Oh. And he told me every fire company that came into Manhattan and operated in the 16th Battalion that night got a unit citation.
Wow.
13 all hands fires. I mean, there must have been companies from all over the city getting in first due.
I was just going to say that too. Think about a second or third alarm by 30 truck.
Yeah.
Every company in the whole north of Manhattan is there.
Is there, correct?
Right. I mean, it's
so now you got relocators everywhere.
You're backfilling everything, whatever you can backfill as quick as possible. You're not sending somebody from South Queens. I mean, you can, but it's going to take them 3 hours to get there.
And I remember several occasions where we would come back to quarters after a job, and there would be a pile of shoes on the apparatus floor because the relocators caught a job. That was great. Yeah.
Good night. What's the most jobs you ever went to in 30 in a tour?
I remember more than one occasion where we went to 3 or 4 jobs in a night. Yeah. There's a photograph there, the black and white photo. I think that was in the morning. It was as we affectionately called it, a Harlem sunrise. And that was probably a 3-job night there. So on the left there is Ali Pasha. He did like 10 or 12 years in the engine, and then went across the floor of the truck and did another 12 years in the truck.
Wow.
Then I mentioned Al Grogan. His son is in 23 truck now. I'm in the center. Then you got Jimmy Curran and Craig Thweet. Jimmy Curran was the strongest man I ever met in my life. Not just the strongest fireman, the strongest man. We used to wrestle around with him and see if we could pin him to the kitchen table, and he would throw 4 of us off of him without effort.
Some guys just
Without
He was
effort,
so
too.
friggin' strong. Yeah.
Like, get away from me.
I saw him carry people under one arm and climb up a ladder and down a ladder like it was a child.
Was he a big guy?
Yeah, he was a big dude.
He was a big dude.
Really strong, great fireman. And then next to him is Craig Thweet. We came on together. He was 4 weeks after me, and he eventually went to Brooklyn. I think he went to 113, and he got himself into Rescue 3 and retired out of Rescue 3.
Right.
And his father was in 28 truck.
His father did a roof rope rescue. He's got that picture of his dad hanging from the rope, like
correct.
Correct.
I think
Good segue, Ruffy, because on my list right here it says performed a life-saving rope evolution.
Yeah, so
go through it. Don't leave anything out. Give me
all the details.
I want all of them.
That previous picture on my right is Al Grogan. On my left is Jimmy Curran. Both of those guys were working. And I remember it very vividly because it was the first night that we had bunker gear. So it must have been the fall of 94. And it was our second job of the night. It was the middle of the night. And once again, we catch a job, and it's not our first due area. So we roll in. It's 40 trucks area, but 40's out. They're out at something else. So 37's got the line. We pull up. There's people all over this building. I fire on 2 floors, and the fire escapes are filled with people. So Jimmy Curran was the chauffeur. He put me up to the roof. I had the roof position. I went up the aerial, and he said to me, I'm going to take the aerial away because I got to get these people. I said, okay. And I remember getting up on the roof, and 26 truck was up there with me. So we took the bulkhead, we took the skylight, and in the rear of the building, there was a shaft. It was probably 8 foot by 8 foot, and it was enclosed. So there was no way to get into that shaft with a portable ladder. There was no access from the rear. And I peer over the side, and fire is on 2 floors in the front of the building. Now I'm in the middle towards the rear, and there's a woman on the floor above. The smoke is chugging out of the window below her and over her head. There's an elderly woman. I said, all right, there's only one way to get her. We got to go. So I told the radio to the officer and the inside team, let them know where she was. And 26 truck hooked me up and lowered me into that shaft. Yeah, it was a little nutty because when I got to the window, she wasn't there anymore.
Oh, shit.
So I said she either jumped or now she's unconscious.
Right.
So I maneuvered myself so that I could get into the window. I got into the window. I unclipped myself from the life-saving rope, and she was there on the floor unconscious.
No way, dude.
Yeah. So I picked her up, and then I said, how the hell am I going to get her out of this apartment? Because there's no way I can pick her up, go back out that window, and put this rope back on myself. So fortunately, the inside team had made their way into that room at that moment, and we were able to drag her out and carry her out through the interior of the building. So I was very fortunate that it was successful and that we were able to save a life. But
she made it too?
She made it too, yeah.
2 for 2, kid.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Curran, the guy that was the chauffeur, I think he grabbed like 3 people at that job. And he went to medal day that year. He got 2 separate medals for 2 separate fires. It was insane. And the one grab he made, he went into the window, and there was an unconscious guy on a wheelchair. So he picks the guy up, throws the wheelchair, and goes back out the window onto the aerial ladder, and he's taking the guy down the aerial, and one of his friggin' legs falls off. He's got prosthetic legs.
Oh.
So everybody in the street is screaming, oh my God, he's ripping his legs off. Crazy shit.
Did you get a medal for that day? Did you get a medal for that day?
I did not get a medal. We got a unit citation.
Really?
Take the unit.
Yeah. I think Jimmy might have gotten a medal because he grabbed like 2 or 3 people, and we got a unit citation. Yeah, that was great.
For going on a rope?
Well, I didn't take her out on a rope, so that's probably why the chief didn't write me up.
What you do, you still went over the side on a
Yeah,
rope,
but cool.
bro.
You know
Well,
what?
listen,
You're comparing that to now, right?
right.
You take somebody off a ladder. I see it online all the time. Oh, nice grab. I'm like, dude, that's not a grab. Like, taking somebody out of a window is not a grab, right? Like,
well, if they're unconscious, it is.
No, if they're unconscious, I'm talking about
Right.
a woman out from.
I agree. That's a removal. That's a removal.
Right.
Removal
Taking
or an
somebody
assist.
out from
You don't get medals for that.
for the exposure. Well, this is what I'm saying. Nowadays, things are a little bit different. Back then, there were guys doing. You were just doing your job. You know what I mean? The chief would say.
Did you get the Alsassa for that one?
No, that was when I was in Fort Truck. I got the Alsassa medal.
Did I skip ahead? Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did. Yep.
Coops. There's medals falling all over the place. I don't know.
I don't know, bro. There's medals over
don't
here.
mean shit.
They're falling out of his pocket. They're coming all over the place.
If you throw a couple of those pictures up, I'll talk about some of the pictures.
All right, Pete, put some of those pictures up.
Oh, you son of a bitch. So are we done with 30 truck or no?
No, there's a couple of pictures of 30 up there.
Truck.
Yeah,
So that was when I got my front piece for 30. Got off probation. That was Jack McDonald. He was one of my lieutenants. Like I said, he was a fireman in 28, where he got the Gordon Bennett for a life-saving rope.
Ah,
Wow.
So there were a lot of life-saving ropes in Harlem, and there still are. I think
I love that shirt, man.
This past medal day,
The polo?
2 guys from 28 Truck got a
Uh-huh.
medal. A guy from Squad 41. So there's life-saving ropes done on a regular basis in the 16th Battalion. I think just because of the types of buildings, and it's just the way it worked out through the years.
Every year there was always one, and I used to say the same thing. Like, how is that happening?
Crazy.
In those buildings. But again, we don't have really enclosed shafts in a lot of areas of the city. You know what I mean? Like, that's like you said, that's a perfect scenario. The people can't go anywhere. You can't get a ladder there. You can't get the aerial there.
There's a photo of a group of us on a rooftop there. If you can find that, Gons.
Did I show it to you before?
I don't think you brought it up yet.
Do
come on,
it,
Pete.
Did we when we went over it? You didn't see it, right?
No. Well, earlier I saw it, but you haven't shown it yet since we're on.
Do it, Pete.
The rooftop.
Come on, Pete, you can find it.
Rooftop.
Yeah, there's the whole company standing up on a roof. Proby picture.
You see, because we
Come
only had
on,
a couple.
Pete, you can find it. Don't make
I'm
me go
working on it. I
looking
mean,
now. I'm gonna go look it if I find it.
No.
There it is. That's the one.
He did it.
You can't give me the fucking pressure, you son of a bitch.
So that's me on the left. Then the next guy is Bruce Garcia. Bruce Garcia did a life-saving rope in probably 91 or 92. I had just gotten to the firehouse. He went to the rear of the building. He sees a guy hanging out the window on the top floor, and the buildings don't connect in the rear. So he goes to the front, and I guess because it was nighttime and because of the smoke condition, he didn't see there was a fence in between the 2 roofs. There was no way for him to get from one roof to the other for the exposure. So he put his fingers in the chain link fence and swung his body 6 stories above the street around that fence to get over to the other roof with a life-saving rope across his shoulder. Then he ran to the back, tied off to a substantial object, and then the second dude roof went up on the aerial, lowered him, and he did a roof rope rescue.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. His son was.
Did you ask him,
71
Steve,
inch.
how he did it? Did you ask him how he gets his balls in his pants?
A lot of
Big
courage.
guys one at a
Lot of
time. I
courage.
don't know how you
Yeah,
get in there.
a lot of courage. His son went to 71 Engine. That's Bruce Garcia. He's deceased. Then the next guy is John Barry. I mentioned him. John was a great fireman. He was always at the right place at the right time. The center guy, that was John Murray. He was the senior man when I got to the firehouse. He probably had 25 or so years. And you could see he doesn't even have a coat. And the 2 guys to my left there, they don't even have rubber boots on. So a lot of guys wore combat boots back then. It was much quicker if you had the OV or the roof. You could get up an aerial quicker. You could get into a window quick. You could go up a fire escape. And guys didn't wear the rubber boots unless they were on the inside. The boss there is Gary Wright. I mentioned him earlier. He was a lieutenant in 30, but he was a fireman in 28. So he knew the buildings. He knew the area. He knew the guys. He was a great fire officer. I think when he was a fireman, they called him the squirrel because he could climb anything.
I like it.
And then Craig Thweed is the last one. He's the one that ended up in Rescue 3, and we came about 4 weeks apart.
Oh, very nice.
That was one of our first multiples.
Yeah, that's what we named this one, the multiple.
Yeah, that was a good job.
All right, I got one more Proby pick of you.
So this is I was a drill instructor at Proby School. The fire department has hundreds of guys that served in the Marine Corps. So we had a Marine Corps association, and we get together every year. The Marine Corps birthday is the 10th of November, and we celebrate it as if it's our own. And I got to meet a lot of great guys on the job through the Marine Corps Association that I never would have met otherwise. Joe Backert, 236. And the guy that got me into the drill instructor program was a guy named Joe Higgins from 111.
Never heard of him.
I think you heard of him. Yeah, so Joe and Bobby were drill instructors, and they asked me to come out, and we ran the place like a bunch of Marines. And that was a fun experience. I did that for like 2 years.
Make any of the kids shit their pants?
No. We broke their balls, but we always try to teach them a lesson. Yeah.
You look like Joe Higgins with the hat there, bro.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah. Higgins said when he was on the show, he's still one of my favorite shows, actually.
He's
but
great.
He said how he loved, like, again, you never know. You think like it's not for me, right? Whatever, and it all of a sudden you come out of this thing 2 years later, and it's like, a little in a 30-year career, whatever, right? All of a sudden, there's this little thing that you could look back on and you say to yourself, man, that was a pretty good time. Like, I'm glad I did that. Because, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Yeah. You get a little gig here or there and you think, man, I'm going to be out of going to fires and shit, but it works out good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was there 12 years and I was single the whole time.
Yoo-hoo.
Nice. Hey, Colin.
He had some panties thrown at him.
Yeah, man, there's a panty drop there.
No doubt.
Making him uncomfortable, I think so.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2001, I'm making a grab at a window, and I'm holding on to the child guard. I'm at the tip of the portable. I'm in the third floor. I'm opening the window. The child guard lets go. I fall off the ladder. So I broke 2 bones in my leg. I tore a couple of ligaments. I tore my hamstring. I tore my calf. I broke 3 ribs. Long story short, I was out of commission, out of work for a year. Wow. Light duty medically for a year. And then I signed up to drive the 1-6 Battalion for a year. And one of my best friends, Paul Conrad, he's a deputy chief now. We grew up together. We've known each other since we're 8 years old. We got on the fire department. There's Paul there with my beautiful wife in the center. So Paul's familiar. A deputy chief now. Paul says to me, what are you doing every day? I said, I'm going to physical therapy. I'm trying to fix my leg, and I'm trying to get back to work. He goes, well, why don't you come to study group with us? We meet once a week. We drink some beers. We'll throw some questions at each other, and we'll study. I said, all right, get me out of the house. So thanks to Paul and the study group, we persevered, and I got promoted to lieutenant.
Look at that.
Yeah. Very fortunate.
So again, you wind up on your feet.
Yeah, my feet hurt from landing on them so much.
So truck.
I go down to Midtown, and Tom Jensen is the 3rd Division commander. So I call him up and I go to visit him. I say, Chief, I put on my Class A's. I go to tell him who I am, and then I'm assigned to his division. He goes, I know who you are. He was a fireman in 30 truck. And now he's the 3rd Division commander.
See how it
happens. See how it happens, Ruff?
So
listen,
I'm
who
covering,
do you want? If you came from 30 and now you got a guy from 30 bouncing around. Like,
what else could you ask for?
Yeah,
that's how it works. That's how it works. I mean, he didn't give me a list number, but he took care of me. So I was working in 54 engine. I think I was doing a vacation, and a guy by the name of Bill Carlson was in 4 truck. You may have heard of him.
No,
good dude. He says to me, do you like it here? I said, I love it here. I didn't think I was going to. Between getting promoted to lieutenant and going to Midtown Manhattan from the ghetto, I was like a fish out of water. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but I loved it. And he said, well, if you want, I could speak to the battalion and, maybe we can get you to stay here. I said, well, I would love that. So the battalion commander at the time was Charlie Williams. He was a captain of 283, and he worked in Harlem back in the day, worked in the rescue, and he was friends with Patty Brown. Patty Brown was a captain of 69 engine when I was a probie. So, I did the right thing, and he endorsed me. Charlie Williams endorsed me, and I got the spot in 4 truck.
What is it like working in that firehouse, man?
It's nuts.
Right?
It's nuts. Well, first of all, it's 2003. So it's very fresh after 9/11.
Right.
And that firehouse, unfortunately, lost 15 guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that front door was like
incredible. I know.
A museum. Incredible. I mean, first of all, it's a block from Times Square. Mm-hmm. You got all the hotels, all the theaters. You got all these buildings with tons of people in them. It was like
my head was spinning. Were you married yet?
I was not married yet.
Woo!
Oh, baby. I'm feeling it. I feel
By the way, I don't want to get off track, but you're part. Gonzo, go back to the picture of him and his old lady. You done good, bro. You're part of that I Married Up club. Check it out.
Yeah, that's my second wife.
Oh, good for you. It's all right, buddy. I'm on my third, so don't worry.
All right, good for you. Good for you.
You know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I did 5 years in Fort Truck, and we had a great time there. We went to good fires, and we went to a lot of weird shit. We went to Subways.
Some weird shit there.
A lot of weird shit. I had the Corey Lytle plane crash. He crashed into a high-rise MD.
Yep.
I was working for that. We had cruise ships that crashed. I had a submarine crash next to the Intrepid that was untied off the dock, and it was slamming into other boats. We went to that. We had a helicopter crash in the Hudson River. That was a funny story. We get to the river, and the helicopter's in the water, and we're hearing all this radio chatter, and a boat pulls up to the pier, and on the loudspeakers, everybody get off. So you know the Beast? You ever see the Beast on the west side of Manhattan? No. It's like a tourist boat. It's a speedboat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the guy throws everybody off the boat, and he yells, "Fire department, get on the boat." We didn't have a boat, so we're like, let's get on the Beast. So we get on the Beast. We got like 3 companies and a battalion chief on the Beast. It turns out the guy's a fireman in Jersey, and he does this as a side gig. So he takes us to the helicopter. Shit. The chief is calling the shore, and we didn't have our call signs or whatever. So he was just saying, Division 3 to the Beast. That was our call sign.
The Beast.
Hello.
And there it is.
No fucking
That's
way.
the Beast.
Are you kidding me? I never saw that before.
They threw everybody off the boat, all the tourists, and they filled it up with fire companies and guys from Rescue 1, I guess. And we went out there and we saved 8 people from the helicopter. Every single one of them survived.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shameless plug right there for this guy.
Yeah, the Beast gets a nice
little. That's awesome.
So he was like a DJ on the side, and he was a fireman, I think, in Newark or some shit.
Doing it all.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. Yeah. So we saw a lot of crazy stuff, helicopters and planes and subways, high rises. And then if we were lucky, we were 9th and 10th Avenue. We had 5-story tenements, bread and butter.
How did you deal with the traffic?
You can't let it bother you because it will. It'll drive you crazy.
I know. My head would pop off.
During the holidays, forget it.
Oh, dude, if I went when I was in 16 truck, if you went out on a run, even if it was a full slot, it would take you an hour to get back to the firehouse.
Correct.
At least.
All these people coming to look at a stupid Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really you had to make a mental note to yourself, like you can act pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, either that or you're gonna go crazy.
Well, there is a lot to look at. You know what I'm saying?
There were some sites. Yeah.
You ain't lying.
How about the triple subseller? You like those?
Oh yeah, those were fun. Those were fun. Swapping bottles while you were underground. Yeah, that's fun
stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I don't remember reading that in the regs.
Yeah,
fuck that.
You have a lot of junior guys there, eager to learn.
Yeah, it was great. I got to train, and it was unique to be in that position. I was always a young guy in the job, and I was in a firehouse with a lot of senior guys, and then to switch roles like that, and now to be training guys, it was great. And some of those guys are captains and chiefs. The guys that were under me, which it feels good.
How'd you like the transition being a boss as opposed to being
I did not. I did not like that transition.
Takes a while, man.
Takes a
while.
That's like the spotlight there, man.
And the phone rang off the hook. Truck officer, department phone. Truck officer, department phone. Truck off all the time. And I would get questions that I just would shake my head and scratch my head like, they're at a construction site on 10th Avenue and they want to move the hydrant. What do I got to do? What?
Say what?
I have to ask me that question.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
You want to do? I don't have it.
Right there's a couple of Ford truck pictures there.
Throw them up there.
You work with
that guy. Tried to get to that. Move the fucking hydrant. What's wrong with you?
Hey, guys, we'll do it again. You ready? I want to move a hydrant over on.
Sorry.
Did you work with my boy Davey Turner?
Oh yes, I did.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
This must have been a crazy time of year.
Yeah, so we had a stuck elevator, and we got some guy named Ryan out of the elevator. That's him in the center.
He's a little guy, right?
He's a little guy, yeah.
Little guy with a lot of money.
A lot of money. Little
He's
guy,
got some money.
A lot of money.
He has a handler that puts his gloves on and takes them off for him. He doesn't even put gloves on. I swear to you. Yeah.
You know, there's no shit in the corner of that elevator, huh?
Yeah. No.
No, there's no piss.
Smell like piss.
No, the elevators in Midtown were fucked up. They worked. They didn't smell like piss, and some had music in them.
What? What the hell is that?
That's crazy.
So that was a New Year's Eve. There's a picture there with the Lombardi Trophy.
I was waiting for you. You want that one?
And a cigar.
So there's a guy from 40 Truck, and he's working part-time as a security guard for ESPN in Times Square. So he comes to the firehouse, and he's got the Lombardi Trophy, and he goes, "You guys want to take pictures with the trophy?" So
it's
we're like,
the
"Of
real
course.
trophy.
This is the real deal, the real trophy." He's going to a party at ESPN, and he's got to deliver the trophy. He works security for ESPN. So we all take photographs with the trophy. I got a great shot there. Then he takes out this special cloth to clean it off. He got all our fingerprints off, and then he puts it in this big padded box, and he locks it with like 3 locks. And he says, "Lou, can you do me a favor?" I go, "What's that?" He goes, "Can I leave the box in the firehouse? I work in 40 Truck, and I'm going to go out for a little while, but then I'm going to come back and get the box." I said, "Okay, no problem."
You leave with fireman?
He leaves the Lombardi Trophy in the firehouse, locked up on the apparatus floor, and he leaves. He comes back. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. We come back from a run, and he's banging on the firehouse front door. He can't get in. He doesn't have a key. He doesn't know the combo. He's legless. And he goes, "I'm going to lose my job." I go, "What happened?" He goes, "I lost the key for the trophy." Unbelievable.
Hello, Mr. George. How much you pay for the new guy?
$20? No, too much.
Too much.
Lost the key for the Lombardi Trophy, which is sitting in the firehouse. I said, "Well, do me a favor. Get that trophy and get the fuck out of here."
Before somebody gets in trouble.
Before I get blamed.
Yeah.
Right. Shit. All right. We have one more. We got Mark Midtown.
Ford Truck one? Oh.
Yeah, that's St. Patrick's Cathedral on one of the anniversaries of 9/11. We always go to Mass at St. Pat's, and Cardinal Dolan invited us up on the altar for a photo. I thought that was a great shot.
Who's the big guy all the way in the back, bro?
Yeah.
Left-hand side.
There's 2 of them. There's another guy right next to him.
I think that guy is a fireman out in Limbrook. McGuire?
That's Ray McGuire?
I think that's Ray McGuire.
I'm like, holy shit.
How long ago was that?
That guy gets in every...
there he is.
Everywhere.
I'll look at the other side.
It's unbelievable that you knew who that was.
His brother,
I'm
too.
good friends with him and his brother. I'm like, that looks like Ray. What?
Well, it looks like Ray because it is.
That's a huge bitch.
God, you're on tonight, bro. You're on it tonight.
That's a big bitch.
That's a huge bitch.
Funny shit.
Sorry, Ray. We love you.
We love you, Ray.
So did you actually ever stop studying, or you kept studying the whole time?
I was very fortunate. I was a lieutenant for 2 years, and they gave a captain's test, so we never stopped studying. And then I passed the captain's test.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Was there
Landed on
anything
my
else
feet
you wanted
again.
to touch?
And
You
what
know,
happened?
or anything?
With the steam pipe explosion, yeah. So that was the that must have been 07. That was Park Avenue and 42nd Street. So we come down 7th Avenue, we make the left on 42nd Street. Rescue 1 is in front of us. And as we're going towards the site, all you see is thousands of people running towards us. Now, you remember, this is post 9/11.
Yeah, I was like, here we go again.
And all these people are running towards us. We go, what the hell? And then in the middle of the street, you see thousands of high heel shoes. The women were just kicking their shoes off and running for their lives.
Wow.
And then when we got to the site, there was a tow truck in the hole and a geyser just coming out of steam and bricks raining down on top of the rig. And there was a city bus on Lexington Avenue. So we went up to the bus, and the chief, we couldn't talk to the chief on the handy-talkie. There was no radio communication because this thing was roaring like a jet engine. And the chief says, "Do me a favor and evacuate that bus." And we opened up the bus, and there was like 20 or 30 people just frozen in fear on the bus.
Wow.
And we were standing in like 2.5 feet of water, which must have been 200 degrees. So we had to carry all the people off the bus to dry land on 42nd Street.
What happened to the tow truck driver?
I think the tow truck driver was killed, and the woman he was with that was in the truck. I think she got like severe burns. She went to the burn center. Yeah, it was.
I remember that.
It was a mess.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nuts. And it's not something that you train for. It's not something you ever expect to see.
It's a Manhattan oddball.
Manhattan oddball. There's so many of them.
It's going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen in Manhattan. Yeah, a lot of chiefs that go up the chain make sure that they work a stint in the 9th Battalion or the 3rd Division. My captain when I was in Fort Truck was a guy by the name of Mike Myers. You might have heard of him.
Yeah, we know Mikey. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So he started out in 175. He went to Rescue 4, and now he's the chief of training.
Yep.
So he was a captain when I was there, and then he went to the 9th Battalion, or I should say he stayed in the 9th Battalion. Then he went to the 3rd Division and went up the chain quite rapidly, and that was the thing to do. I had division commanders. I mentioned Tom Jensen before. We had Tom McCavanaugh. We had John Sudnick. So it was no accident that these guys became 3- and 4-star chiefs, and they worked in Midtown. I think they were all told, like, you know, if you're a rising star, you got to work there. Yeah.
So you study, you take the captain's test. Where are you on that list?
That was a tough test. That was a test that only like 200 guys passed.
Really?
Yeah. They made that test really difficult. And I was right in the middle of the pack. I think I was probably like 110, maybe somewhere around there.
You find you find where you should be as an officer, and then you get promoted captain, right?
And I felt like, you know, becoming a captain is no different than being a lieutenant as far as being on the rig. Your responsibilities are a little different, but as far as being a company officer and being on the apparatus, there's no difference.
I'm going to bet that this guy gets a good spot as a captain. I'm going to go on a limb here, Ruff. I'm going to go
once again, I got lucky. And one of the guys in the 16th Battalion, the battalion commander, Frank Donnelly, I just happened to drive when I was a fireman, drive in the 16th Battalion.
Oh.
5 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
He calls me up and
he
says,
like
listen,
a suckle.
He's like, Steve.
Yeah. He says, listen,
Life like a suckle.
23 truck is going to open up. The guy scored number 1 on the Chiefs list. Jimmy Brosey. He's now the head of the union, the president of UFOA, Deputy Chief Jim Brosey. He's getting promoted to battalion chief, and I want to put you in 23. So I said, sure. You want my left arm or my right arm? I mean, what do I got to give you? And he says, you just sit tight, and when he gets promoted, I'm putting you in 23. I said, thank you, sir. And I just waited. I bounced for about 2 years. And
well, you did bounce that long.
I did. There were a lot of captains in the division when I got promoted. And, you know, the nice thing was I worked a lot of citywide. So I had not worked in other boroughs previously. So I started off in Harlem. I go to Midtown, and now I'm back in the South Bronx in Harlem. And when I'm surplus, they're sending me all over the city. I'm working in 175. I'm working in 236. I'm working in places I never dreamed of working in before. I've heard of them. I knew guys that worked there. And it was a great experience to go see these other companies and work in Brooklyn and work in Queens. I worked a couple of tours in Staten Island. And it was a great experience. I got to see guys that I knew from previous years. I played on the football team for 2 years. So I would run into guys that were on a football team, guys from the Marine Corps Association. It was great.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
With Big Philly Tefano?
I worked with Phil. I played with Phil also, yeah.
Great guy, man.
Great guy.
What position did you play in football there?
I was a wide receiver, and I kicked. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I gather you played in high school, too. I was going to ask you before that.
Yeah, I played in high school, and I played 1 year in college. It was Division III. So.
Oh, who was? Well, Woody, right?
You got an athlete.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Woody. Yeah.
He was a big dude, man.
Yeah, I had a pair of gloves when I played high school football. I was a lineman, and I had lineman gloves. They were padded, and they were really good gloves. And when I came to the fire department team, I still had them. I gave them to Woody, and he wore those gloves. He goes, man, these are good gloves. I said, yeah, they're expensive gloves. And he wore them. He loved them. And I loved Woody. He was a great guy. Everybody that knew him loved him.
Two guys who went too young, bro. Both of them. Yeah. Philly and Woody.
Yeah. And I was good friends with Tommy Cullen. He was in some place, I think, 290.
Where is that?
And, I don't know. I think it's on Long Island somewhere.
I mentioned that number before. Volunteers.
Heard it.
So
you know what? I actually heard that they're the busiest fire company in the world.
In the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
I think I read that somewhere. Did I see that somewhere?
He transfers from 290 to Squad 41. Tommy Cullen. And I said to him, I go, what the hell are you going to squad 41 for? Nobody likes them. He goes, that's okay. I'm from 290. I'm used to it.
I've been hating my whole career.
God rest his soul. Tommy Cullen was killed on the 11th, along with another 24 guys from the football team.
That sucks.
Yeah, we
who was the guy? There was Sterling, right? Sterling was on the football team, if I remember.
Bronco.
Fletcher.
Patty Lyons.
Oh,
Patty Lyons.
So many names.
I like that guy. He was a good guy. That was
sometimes when I look at the photograph of the 343, I look at a guy's picture and I go, "Oh yeah, I forgot he died too."
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's beyond comprehension. It really is.
But so you get up to the truck over there finally. When do you go there? 2 years?
So 2 years. So I got promoted in 2008, and then 2010 I get assigned to ladder 23. And my father,
I got to hold that thought.
Yeah.
Did you work in 30 truck?
Yeah, when I was covering,
Did you tell Nicolello what to do? They're like, go over there,
course.
go do this, go do that.
I told him to slow down, turn on the blue lights in the rear. Blue lights are for police cars.
That sounds like him, bro. You do a good fucking deal.
I worked perfect for 12 years.
Yeah.
Blue lights.
Working tools, not baby carriages.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. All right, so you go up to 23, and
you were saying something about your dad. What were you saying?
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. My father was a lieutenant in 80 engine, so it was a unique experience. I had worked in the firehouse as a fireman. There's my pop's medal day, 2008.
Wow.
That was the steam pipe explosion medal that we got, the Alsacer medal.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you got a medal for that. I should have looked down right here. It's right.
There you go. So, so it was a unique experience.
Pretty soon the guy's going to be leaning over like this. He's got some medals. You know what I mean?
Mexican war general.
The NYPD badge thing is going to be up here.
Is your pop still around?
He's still around. And he's
we got to get him on the show.
82 years old.
Nice, let's get him.
He'll be on the show. He'll be talking for 4 hours.
We just did 3. Another hour ain't going to kill us.
Do 4,
bro. When he worked, they called him Larry the Lip because he never shut up.
Lip.
Yeah.
We'll get him.
We'll get him.
We'll tune him up.
He worked in the South Bronx in 1967. So there's a picture. I put that in because I was not on a job then. This is in the late 70s. And if you look in the center of the photograph, that's the Cross Bronx Expressway. And this is looking south. So I guess it's an aerial photograph.
I thought this was from the movie War of the Worlds.
It does look like it, right?
Right.
So in the center of the photo where the Cross Bronx Expressway is, that's the firehouse. That's 46 engine and 27 truck. And it's right next to a police precinct. And then
you can still see it from the Cross
Bronx. You can see it when you go on the Cross Bronx.
You can still see it, yeah. So that's Washington Avenue, just to the left of the firehouse. And then you can see like a black border there. That's 3rd Avenue. And Rescue 3, incidentally, is presently in this photograph as well. They're just south of 46 and 27. So you could see how that place looks like London during World War II.
The Blitzkrieg.
Unbelievable.
Does that say "We are here" on that little thing?
It says "You are here" because that is a photograph that's in the firehouse. It's hanging up in the firehouse. And I took a picture of it. I said, man, I got to show these guys this photograph. So I know they were busy in Brooklyn. I know there's good fire stories all around the city, but the South Bronx was, in its heyday, was a war zone. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
I look at a lot of the pictures of the kids playing in the burnt out cars where there's no buildings around, or they're jumping out of the second story on a pile of mattresses.
Dude, I talk about when I was a kid, we used to go upstate. We used to take the Major Deegan past Yankee Stadium to get on the GW.
Yep.
And I remember those buildings that were right there before you get, that ramp before you get it. It's always traffic there. It's always backed up. But I remember as a kid looking out the back seat, all those buildings that are on that hill.
All burnt out?
They were all burnt, and they all had either like the HUD window with the plant or like the guy in the shadow or whatever it was.
Oh,
like
right.
Right. Was this? I remember looking at that. Now, coming from Queens, we didn't have. We didn't have any.
Not like
we didn't
that.
Have no vacants at all. Really?
I mean, look at that's what the Bronx is burning.
That was a Dinkins thing. Mayor Dinkins had paintings on the window of someone holding a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was
sitting
like
in the window.
Drinking tea. Or
like
it
was ridiculous.
Like a bowl with a plant hanging out.
So it didn't look like a vacant building.
Yeah, so it didn't look like shit.
That we've been to 15 times before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And now you go past those buildings, and I'm not saying they're nice, but they're,
Well, they've been renovated. Yeah.
Yeah.
They pumped billions of dollars into those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Probably some hipster in there.
I mean, look at the 1977 World Series when they had there
was a fire in the outfield. Yeah.
Yeah, they were burning. Howard Cosell, the Bronx is burning.
The Bronx is burning. Yeah.
You ain't shitting, bro. He ain't lying.
So those were the guys that taught me. They learned in the South Bronx and Harlem back in the heyday when they were going to fires all the time. And that's those were the guys that taught me.
They must have been going to so many fires, bro. Like, you think every period they go to work, but those guys, you can't fathom the amount of work that those guys
My father said nobody did 24s. They did straight tours. They worked the truck. And everybody in the Bronx, every fireman in the Bronx lived in the Bronx.
I was going to say they all lived in the Bronx, man.
Yeah. Nobody was commuting. You're taking a train to work or you walked.
Is your dad originally from the Bronx?
Yeah, he's from Soundview in the Bronx. Yeah.
That's why he's a Yankee fan, Guns.
Yeah,
that's
right. From the Bronx.
Yeah, I mean, he used to go to football games and baseball games at the Polo Grounds.
Oh, man. We got to get this guy on, bro.
Now it's projects.
We got to get the it is. It is. Yeah, we got to get the lip on.
Larry the Lip.
Larry the Lip would be great.
You
know what? You can be on with him, and you can speed him up if he gets hung up. You know,
there's no speeding him up.
But listen, we've had a couple 80-year-old guys and their sons who are firemen as well. They just sit on the sideline and they say, "Hey, Pop, tell them the story with this." To keep them on, on the path a little bit. Yeah, because they forget a lot of shit, man. Like I forget shit at 56.
I forget shit too.
What the fuck am I gonna do at 82?
What were we just talking about?
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you say, Pete?
Oh,
you know what I wanted to ask you before we got too far. Were you there when Delaney got there, or you weren't gone by then?
No, I was gone already. I got promoted in 03.
Shit,
he must have gotten there right after. Yeah.
He painted a picture of his first couple of fucking months there, and he had a hard time adjusting.
It sounded pretty similar. Like
it was a tough place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just remind me of another story. A couple of probies were working in 59 and 30. And there's two probies on the house watch in the middle of the night. There's a knock at the door. And 5930 had a lot of verbal alarms. We had a lot of fires that were verbals. And you were talking the days before cell phones. So you either used a payphone or people would come to the firehouse. So there's a knock at the door, and the lady says, "Hey, fireman, the building next door is on fire." So the probie says to the other probie, "You want to come with me and check it out?" The guy goes, "Okay." So they walk next door. They go up to the second floor, and sure enough, the apartment's ripping. So they come back downstairs. Neither one of them brought a key. So now they're standing outside the firehouse.
Knocking on the door.
There's a fire. Oh, man. Could you imagine?
I had that happen to me as a probie. Somebody came knocking on the door, and they said there's fire in the Chinese food place. So the guy goes, I was a probie. I was sitting on the watch with the guy. He gives me radio. He goes, "Go down around the corner. This is the middle of the daytime. See what's going on." I fucking turn the corner, it's blowing out like fucking 3 windows on top of the Chinese food store. I was like in a panic to run back to the fire. I didn't even use the radio. I ran back to the fire.
Awesome. Things what not to do.
Yeah, right. Patty Lee is in the chat. That's my old. That's my old lieutenant. He wrote, "Lou, why didn't you walk past Wyckoff Avenue when you were a kid in Queens?" So Wyckoff Avenue, like that was like Ridgewood, and that went. Like from the good area
towards Knickerbocker, you were going downhill.
If you went past Wyckoff, it was like falling off a cliff, man. It was just right there. And then 124 was on, I think, St. Nick over there, and the Tonka truck. So,
dude, I'll never forget.
He was there in the 70s. There,
I'll never forget one time. My father owned a camera store in Knickerbocker Avenue in that area down there. So I worked with him in the summertime. We drive up past. He takes me down Wilson, stops the car, and he says, "I want to let you know this is why Dad works 3 jobs." To keep you out of this shit, and we fucking I use that on my son the other day, bro.
Steve, did you ever see the picture? If you ever see the picture from Knickerbocker Avenue where 124 is parked and there's like 10 factories on fire and everything.
Oh man.
His father
took those pictures from the camera store. He walked out with a 110 camera. Took some of the best fire.
Is that a Tonka truck?
Tonka truck. Yeah.
That was Billy Carlson's father was the captain.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. This Carlson.
You heard of him?
Yeah. You'll see him on the boat trip. He always comes. That fuck.
Dude, you talk about Keith. he's like
Billy's kind of close, right?
Yeah, he's pretty close, man.
Yeah, the dispatcher would say we're sending 3-2 to Carlson's.
The problem was Carlson's got a little buff to him. Keith is just
He's a little.
I
think Keith on
I don't
fire.
think Keith has the buff. He's just got.
He's a little buffy, but Billy,
he's buffy.
Yeah. He loves all the.
Keith was a member of the New Jersey Metro Fire Photographers Association. He used to bring a busload of buffs to the firehouse every year.
Oh, I didn't know that. So we see him.
Yeah, and then he would bring them. He would bring them to Rescue 3. He'd bring them to other firehouses, and hopefully they'd catch a job while they were driving around the city.
Look at that. Well, I'll write this one down and bring it up.
Another little tidbit, little birdie chirping there. I like it.
Little nugget.
Yes, Jose, there was a VIM on Knickerbocker Avenue. Yes, I know.
I remember that. That was
hell yeah. I think it's still there.
That was red, white, and blue, right? They had the stars and shit all over it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, man.
All right.
All right, where are we back at?
All right, let's look at some more pictures.
Yeah, come on, Pete, pick him up.
Well, he's got promoted. He's at 23 now. He's in 23.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. This is a great shot. This is all the captains of the 1/6 Battalion minus 69 engine. So
Ruff, I told you, look at a rack on the guy's chest, man.
Mike Gaffney on the left, he's still in 59 engine. John Gormley is a battalion chief down in 7 Battalion. Jimmy Leach in the pipe band. He's retired, myself, and then Matt Hagan. He was the captain of 80 engine, and he just retired recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a great.
That was a great shot. Yeah, it was a great shot.
I blew it up a little bit, so you have another one.
This is after a early morning jab. The boys in 23. Absolute professionals. They always did their job. They did it well. They made my job so easy as the captain. And I have the utmost respect. My goal was always to make the guys as good or better than I was, and to be half as good as the guys that taught me. And these guys are all better firemen than I ever was. They're great guys. They always were in position. They always did the right thing. And like I said, they made my job easy.
Don't you love that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. That's a captain's dream right there.
Like Disney World. You just have to show up.
What was your chauffeur for long? Rob Procaccini told me that his.
Oh, yeah. So Rob knows the guy on the far right there. That's Pete Sorbo. So Pete Sorbo got on the job. I think he got on.
I know
02.
him. I know him.
Yeah. So Pete got on in 02, and I was still in 30. So I remember when he got on. I remember Proby in 23. And then in 2010, I get promoted to captain. I get assigned to 23. He's still there. And, of course, I snatched him up to be my chauffeur. He was a chauffeur extraordinaire, great fireman, funny as hell. We had a million laughs, and we had a rule after the meal. First of all, there was no television in the dining area of 80 and 23. In the kitchen and the dining area, no television.
Really?
And they had a rule after the meal, nobody was to get up. You had to sit there, and you had to converse and talk for at least an hour. And there was a guy that was a lieutenant there, Mike Galgano. And he was the one.
I know Mike. I know him.
Yes.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He was a fireman in 120.
I know him.
And then he went to Squad 2.
Squad 1. Was it
Squad 1? Yeah, right.
Squad 1.
I almost said Rescue 2.
I forget.
I think he went to Squad 1. But at any rate, he was a lieutenant in 23 truck, and that was his rule. He says, after the meal, I want you guys to sit here, and we're just going to converse. And we called it the Galgano Hour. And guys would put their phones down. There was no television, and we would just sit there, and we would laugh and tell stories and joke, and it was just a great time.
Do they still do it now?
They still do it. It's a great tradition.
That's a great tradition, bro.
That's been for many, many years, and I think it's a great lesson for a lot of the young guys. You know, put your friggin' phone down, have a conversation. You might learn something.
Yeah,
and you will.
You guys out there, it's a sneak
and you will guarantee.
Oh, no doubt, laugh, man. I tell my kids, put the phone down already, man.
Exactly.
I can't imagine. I mean, when I got out, cell phones would kind of just, they weren't as prevalent as they are now. But I see, even when I pass a firehouse, guys are outside on their cell phone in front of the firehouse. What the fuck?
And I've worked in many firehouses in the 6th Division that had signs right outside the kitchen, no cell phones.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Most firehouses have TVs in the dining area. Some do not. And a lot of firehouses now have a sign, no phones, because people are on their phones the entire meal, or they're watching TV the entire meal, and there's no conversation.
You could have 12 guys not even fucking looking at each other, you know?
Yeah, I don't get it. I go to a diner and I see 4 young people at a diner, and they're all eating their food with their phone like this.
Yeah, right, no doubt.
Why'd you go out to eat?
Yeah,
just
no
friggin'
doubt.
stay home. I don't
agree.
understand it. Yeah.
Oh, maybe QC Beast. Maybe we can put that question if QC Beast becomes a member. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we have a new member, by the way.
I'll put it up. The Captain Elliott, were you there for the 80-23 second alarm in quarters?
No, that happened probably the end of 2008. I got the spot 2 years later. So I was the recipient of a brand new firehouse.
Beautiful.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
There's Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, I want to share that with you guys.
You know what? I'm going to say another name, Gonzo. You know what to do. Procaccini.
Oh, which one do you want, actually? Because
You know which one.
Which one do you want?
No.
I'm going to try to get him. Oh. Which one do we want for him?
Procaccini and QC Beast. What?
Fixed income.
Yeah, they have which one? What am I playing for them, though?
Cricket, bro. Come on.
Oh, my bad. I was going to play the birdies, but okay.
Rob knows it was Thanksgiving Day, 2008.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, look,
I have a lot of
it's
sound
QC
effects.
Beast. It's QC Beast. Hold on a minute.
Ready? Here we go.
Procaccini works. If I got to hear about one more overtime of he's working, one more tour of overtime, I'm going to fucking vomit. Guy's always working overtime, but he can't afford $4.99.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? He's
excited.
He's getting all worked up over here.
Take it easy.
You're the one who told me, don't put those fucking guys questions unless they pay for it. That was you.
Sorry.
We got any more photos in there, bro? What do you got?
we got a couple. I'm saving 2 for
McCluskey. I forgot about McCluskey.
Yeah, there's some legends in this
Oh,
photograph.
big hands McCluskey.
So McCluskey talks a lot about E.J. Tierney. E.J. is the one who's front and center there. We lost him to 9/11 cancer, and this was a dinner in his honor. I think it was the Chiefs dinner, and this is just a crew, almost all officers, but all guys that worked in the 16th Battalion in the companies or Chiefs. So that's an amazing photograph.
That's
Who's
Kirk.
kneeling down
Kirk
all the way on
Kirk
the
Leslie.
left? Who's that kneeling down all the way on the left?
I'm not sure.
I thought that was that's not Rocco Lou? Rinaldi? No.
I'm not sure who that is.
The great.
I'd have to look at a bigger photo.
A lot of dust in that picture.
A lot of dust.
Holy
You know what I hear when I see that?
Yeah. A lot of chiefs, a couple of staff chiefs in there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's like who's who of the 16th Battalion in the 80s
That's
and 90s
great.
right there. Yeah.
All right, here
Great
we go.
A couple more photos, I think.
Yeah. Oh, boom. Here we go.
Holy good Lord.
So that was affectionately known as the missile strike. It looked like that building got hit by a missile.
Where is this in?
This was on 144th Street in Manhattan and on the corner of Broadway.
I thought it was Ukraine or something.
Good thing they were working on the building.
Yeah.
Did they start the fire?
This guy went into the apartment with 2 gallons of gasoline, poured it all over the apartment, and threw a road flare in there and ran out.
Yeah.
And we got there, and it was a 6-story building. We were kind enough to make it a 5-story.
I usually say we didn't do so good there.
No, we didn't do so hot that day. This is the same building, a different corner. So there was fire throughout that entire top floor.
Chugging there. Look at that.
Chugging. That building was like 150 by 150. That was one of the best jobs of my career.
Velvet.
Yeah. That was the first time I ever got on a handy-talkie and told the chief, we're bailing out of this place.
Yeah. No good's coming from that.
Mike Malarkey had the nozzle in 80 engine. I was screaming at him to open the lineup, and he said it was wide open right over our heads. And it wasn't cooling shit.
What are you talking about? It's open.
Yeah.
Malarkey.
That job probably ended 3 careers. And
no doubt.
And there were a lot of hurt feelings, too, let me tell you.
Hurt feelings in 3/4. See you later.
Yeah.
All right, got another job for you.
This was, I think, fire on the 2nd floor, communicated up to the 3rd floor. And the reason I posted this picture is because I remember it It was on September 11th, I think in 2020. So we had all gone down to the Trade Center and paid our respects, and they came in to do the night tour. And we're in this apartment. We put the fire out, and the kid in the bucket comes in off the bucket is Carl Asaro. His father was killed on 9/11 in Fort Truck. Then on the can with me is Jesse Barnes. His father was killed in 25 Truck on 9/11. And then coming down the hallway, my good friend Chris Blackwell, his son is in Squad 41. So I got 3 kids in this apartment. All of their fathers were killed. And
that's tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good thing to see the guys, the kids doing that stuff. I mean, it's all the time. I know Angelini's son just got on the job, right? I mean, it's just every time I see that, you know, I say all the time, fucking social media is a cancer. You know, it's just garbage. But then I see, you know, a story like Angelini's son, and I think there was a couple of other guys in there, and it makes me proud, right? I mean, I just, you know, the fact that you had those guys in your place, and their sons are coming to work in your place. Out of all the firehouses they could work, they're coming to work in your place, right? I mean, that's
and to have 3 legacies in the fire department at once. I wanted to tell all 3 of them to sit in the corner and not move.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of responsibility there, bro.
It's like
I'm going to be pissed off if you get hurt.
Yeah.
If you get hurt, I'm going to be pissed off at you.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, right?
We lost.
Stay here.
We lost so many good men, and it's great that these guys and girls are carrying on the legacy of their fathers. Yeah.
I was
immense pride.
Steve and I were talking during the pre-show, and I was trying to figure out how many members have joined since 9/11. Family members or part of FDNY now.
Yeah,
and I was just trying to look it up, and I can't find it out. But I'm
gonna have to say it's over 100.
Oh, it is. We got 2. We got the Geese boys. Ronnie Geese's kids.
Where did Angelini's kid go? He just went. Do you know? Where
he's in Proby school.
I think he's in the academy now.
He's in the academy right now.
Yeah. So many guys. Yeah.
Ton of shit.
So that's why I posted that picture.
No worries. I got one more. Actually, 2 more good jobs. Your last photo.
Jabs.
That was the picture. I mentioned Pete Sorbo was the chauffeur. Mm-hmm. We had Timmy Daw, Sean Hanneberg, Brady Wareham. They were all working this fire, and I don't know who took this picture. It was a great photograph. I don't have that many photographs of fire pictures.
That's a great. That to me is like when I say all the time, like on the thing, if I post something like when you turn the corner. Yeah, and you see fire out the window, like that's a perfect thing. Like you're like, that's a good job. You could tell
that's a nozzle man's dream.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good job.
Yeah, it's already venting.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, it's funny. I don't have a lot of pictures of when I was in 30 because it was before cell phones. Now we got Citizen app. We can get photographs of the job before we were even there.
On the way.
Yes, you can get a building size up on the way. It's crazy.
Whoever R is, he said 155. So I'm assuming
I believe that because what I say over 100. I believe that. Yeah.
No, they said Angelini. That's where Angelini's son went. 155.
Oh, 155 truck.
Yeah.
Oh, 155. Okay, that's great.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There's so many guys. I mean, I don't even want to list them from memory because I know I'm gonna miss so many. But there's so many guys, and like I said, and girls that are on the job now. Their fathers perished on 9/11, and what a wonderful tribute and honor to their fathers and to their legacy.
We got a bunch of guys in our firehouse, Ruff. Even
the Geese boys got on.
What's his name's daughter from
Smith.
Yeah,
Smith.
Josephine.
Smith was in hazmat.
Yes, but he was in a busy engine company before.
Yeah, she was in 39. You were 39 at the same time.
Correct.
I think she's still there, isn't she?
She went to hazmat,
she went to hazmat.
The hazmat engine.
Oh, she did.
I think I don't know. Went to the hazmat. Yeah.
What's the hazmat engine in Queens?
Like a 274.
Oh, 274. I meant.
Yeah, that's where she went. She was in 39 engine. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think she was the first one, right? The first family member to join. Is that why it gets that name
she
sounds
was
so familiar? She was one of the first ones, I think.
She has a lot of
time. And I believe her father was a Marine as well. We brought a piece of steel down to Quantico, Virginia. If you guys ever happen to go to Quantico, there's a museum, the Marine Corps Museum. Mm-hmm. And just off the path, not inside the museum, but outside, just off the path, there's 2 pieces of World Trade Center steel, and we have all the names of the guys from FDNY that were killed on 9/11 that were in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So we got
That's
2.
down at Quantico.
You got another one, Guns?
I got 2 more.
With these fires. Oh, no.
So this is
just
another one of the proudest moments in my career. This is a medal day, I think in 2021. The guy in the center is the recipient of the Gansey Medal, the highest medal that you can receive.
Wow.
He also did a roof rope rescue. He rescued a 5-year-old girl in a top floor window at a job in Washington Heights. And Abe Miller is his name. And this is one of the proudest moments of my career. I think that this outshines any accomplishment that I ever had, to have a guy in your company receive the highest medal, and also for a roof rope rescue. What a proud moment. Not only did he get the Gansey Medal, but he was also invited to the White House, and President Biden gave him the Medal of Freedom, or whatever the civilian highest honor.
Yeah.
He also received that medal at the White House. Yeah, so Abe, he's one of my all-stars, and I have tremendous pride in him and all the guys standing behind him.
Steve, I don't want to. I had the same exact scenario.
That's
The
great.
guy, I was in squad, the boss in the squad, and Bones McCoy, right? He got the Gansey, and when we got the word, I was out fishing with my chauffeur, who was in the squad. We were out fishing, and I sat down, and I was like overwhelmed, like how proud, like I was, like to have that. Like I couldn't believe, like it was as if I got it myself.
Yes,
It was
that's how I felt. I told
say-
him this is one of the proudest moments in my career, and I was
agree.
so happy for him.
I agree. I was so
absolutely.
happy for that guy.
And
it was
like I said earlier, it was always my goal as a company officer to make my men greater than I was, greater firemen, and I think I achieved that. Those guys are absolute all-stars. I would follow any one of them anywhere.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that guy, Bones, John McCoy, I called him Bones because of Star Trek, but he was one of the first guys that came to the squad after 9/11.
Yeah.
And
we took a shine to him right away, man. He was a good dude.
I did.
Yeah. He just got the El Salsa.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Get your shine box. I don't know if you heard. I don't shine anymore.
I don't know. You've been away a while. I don't know if you heard. I don't shine fucking shoes anymore. All right, Gons, throw another one up, kid.
Cap, this is the last one you wanted to show, so here we go.
Oh, so that's full circle. This was in the middle of the night. I got a phone call. I was working at 23. I got a phone call. They said, we need you to go to the 16th Battalion. One of the chiefs has a family emergency. We need you to get there as soon as possible. So they moved one of the firemen, Tommy Furlong. He's in the photograph there. They moved him over from 80 Engine and made him the acting officer in 80. And they took the boss from 80 and put him in 23. And I went to the 16th Battalion. I got there not even 10 minutes after I arrived. This run comes in.
And then you lost the whole block.
We lost the whole block.
You know how to do it.
So this is on the corner.
Suck, man.
This is on the corner of 134th Street and Lenox Avenue, a half a block away from 30 Truck. So it's a full circle moment. I think if you look closely in the picture, you might see one of the tools that fell off my rig my first week.
For sale.
You had to be like laughing to yourself, like, what the hell is going on here, man? Like,
laughing like a circle.
Like a circle.
Right around the corner from where it started. So that was one of my last fires as an acting battalion chief, and it was right around the corner from the firehouse. Yeah.
And how'd they send you off? How was your last tour?
I was having some issues, and I got hurt. So I wound up tapping out, and then I did my last year on light duty at the academy before I retired. Right. Yeah. So I didn't have a last tour in the firehouse, so to speak. Yeah.
So
excellent day, man.
But I had a good career. Like I said, my feet hurt from landing on them all the time.
I was always landing on it.
Always landing on my feet.
Like
I was very fortunate.
It's like a cat.
Yeah. 9 lives. I was very fortunate.
That rough. It's either that or what else?
Yeah.
Never done this before.
No, I had pop time. Pop time.
Pop time.
Some guys have cop time. I have pop time.
This is what I say. The more we do this, it really comes down to if you do the right thing wherever you are, even if you're not in in the best place at that time, inevitably you're going to, the more time you do, you're going to come around and somebody's going to know you. It happened with Lieb, right? He got on the squad because the guy, knew him.
Sure.
Chief Richardson knew him when he was bouncing in 323, right? And it just same thing happened to you. Like guy was at 30 truck. He remembers you, and before,
I always just say it's not only who you know, it's who knows you.
Right? Really, it does matter. If you do the right thing, people are going to try and
you
grab you in their spots. So.
Yeah.
Gonzo, I'm sending you one more picture that Procaccini sent me. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Yeah. All right.
Oh, boy.
I hope it's a good one. I hope it's a good one, Rob.
Just send it straight to my email. Can you do that?
I sent it to you.
My phone?
It to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a few seconds.
Carl, somebody said Carl Asaro, 3 sons and a daughter on the job.
That's correct. Yeah. 4 Asaros. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a lot more than we probably think.
Giving their mother some gray hairs.
Oh my God.
I would love to get that information. I'm going to try to do that for next time. I always.
They actually took a photograph. I saw a photograph. They had all the legacy kids at the fire academy in one picture. Yeah. Probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
That's pretty cool.
And there's more.
So,
yeah.
I got another one coming in hot off the press for you, Gons.
Hot off the press.
A lot of birds.
It's of somebody else. But
come on.
Come on, take the money and run.
I'm going to pull it up right now. I'll pull the first
So while you're looking
now.
for that photo, I did 14 years in 23 truck. And I asked some of the senior guys that worked there in the 80s, I said, do you ever remember in the history of the company, someone being there, a captain being there longer than 10 years? And they said, no, I don't think that's ever happened. So they think there hasn't been any proof.
Tenure?
They think the longest tenured captain in the history of the company.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good for you, Cap. There you go.
Pat myself on the back.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can blow that up while you guys are looking at
So
it.
that's Danny Quinn on the left, and he's a lieutenant in a place, I think 120. I don't know where that is. Somewhere in Brooklyn, maybe.
3-number that job.
And then Pete Sorbo, he was my chauffeur extraordinaire. He's since been promoted to lieutenant, and he's at the Rock. I think he got promoted about 2 years ago. So yeah, that's a great photo. That must have been when I first got to 23, because that front piece.
You look a little clean.
Nice and clean, nice and white. Yeah,
that's clean.
Yeah.
Now, where do you have it now? Where do you got the lid? A little man cave? What do you got?
I think they're hanging in my garage. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go, Hans.
Tower ladder 2-3, and now he's in tower ladder 120.
112. There we go. Oh, there it is. Give me a few seconds. I got
the other one I sent you guys.
It's coming in hot right now.
Shit hot from David Williams.
One more coming in.
Somebody else that we were just speaking about. There he is. Joe Angelini III going to ladder 150. Oh, look at what that is next to him, Ruff. Your buddy.
Oh, Big Al.
Big Al.
Al Benjamin.
Oh, and Al Benjamin from Rescue 1.
Yep. Yeah. That's Davey Williams from Rescue 1. He's got that Rescue 343 rescue rig that he takes to places. He's a great guy.
Right.
Guy won't answer my phone calls when I ask him to come on the show, but he's a great guy. Other than that, I love Davey. He must be watching tonight if he sent me that.
It must be, right? It must
son of a gun.
Oh, sorry, I made it a little bit bigger for us in case you wanted to get a little close. Look at that flat top on that guy's head.
Oh, he's got Davey Williams, bro. Great guy.
That's what Kirk Lester said. You could always tell what decade he was in by his hair, and he said the flat top was the 80s.
He was a military guy too. I think he was like a mine guy, one of the guys, and I forget what he was, Vietnam guy. Be great if he came on the show. He could tell us the story, Dave.
Yeah, come on.
Or Big Al. We've talked.
One more military guy story. When I was in the Marine Corps, we had a company gunnery sergeant. His name was Mike Curtin, and he was a cop in the 7-5 precinct. And my cousin Robert Yeager, was also a cop in the 7-5. And when Curtin went to ESU, he became a sergeant. He went to ESU. He brought my cousin over with him. And Curtin, Vigiano, and Delero, all three of them were killed on 9/11.
Holy shit.
Truck 2 in Harlem, ESU. And my cousin Robert, fortunately, was out in Fort Totten serving warrants or some shit. So he was spared that day. I had 5 cousins that were city cops. All of them survived that day. And, of course, myself. So we were a very lucky family.
Yeah. Toss of the dice, baby. Toss of the dice.
I thought I'd mention the Vigianos and Mike Curtin. Mike Curtin was exemplary Marine. He was a drill instructor back in the day, a cop in the 7.5, a sergeant in ESU Truck 2, and he was also killed on 9/11. So a shout out to the Vigiano family and to the Curtin family.
We didn't do it. We talked about it in the pre-show. We wanted to mention Georgie Munch, right? The
right.
who just passed
away. So his funeral, I believe, is tomorrow.
He was dispatcher in Brooklyn, right?
Right. So we'll raise a glass to him as well.
Salute, baby.
Salute, baby.
A little agua.
You not drinking tonight?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll save it for the weekend.
You all right? I think it might be that time right now, Gons.
What time is that, my friend?
Oh, it might be
that time. It is time for the old school tip of the day.
There he goes.
Take it away, Cap.
I guess my old school tip would just be simply to seek respect, not attention. Be humble, but be confident. And always set the example, because you never know who's watching you. You never know what kind of example you're setting and who's trying to be inspired by the example that you're setting. And you never know. You might train a guy someday who becomes a captain, and then you send your son to his firehouse.
That's it.
It happens. It happened to me. So leading by example is of the utmost importance. When you don't feel like drilling, when you don't feel like doing the right thing, someone's watching you. So do the right thing all the time.
Do the right thing when you know nobody's looking.
I like that first part. Seek respect.
Be humble,
not
attention. I love that.
Yes. That's
what
what you should aspire to do in your career. Be respected and not just get attention, because we all know there's no better compliment than that guy's a good fireman.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cap, great show. Great.
Thank you. Man. Thank you, brothers. I'm humbled, and what an honor it was to come on.
Oh,
I appreciate you having me.
Hey, by the way, did you ever see Procaccini's old lady? She's hot. She's hot. That's why we call him Mrs. Procaccini's husband.
Going off.
Yeah, we don't really hang out. We don't really talk and hang out with him.
We like hang out with
yeah, we like
Any shout out?
I never met her.
What do you got? Rough anything?
No, we go.
So thank you for everybody that made comments, left comments in the
all
chat.
Good stuff. All
thank
good
you
stuff,
very
Cap.
much.
What do you got, Gons?
Health and safety tip.
Oh shit! Thank you. Let me grab one. Oh, you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use one. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, here we go.
Tee it up.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders, too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
This is a simple one, bro. It's been hot as fuck out. So drink and stay hydrated, because by the time you either see your dark piss or you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So make sure you're hydrated throughout the day. And that is the old school health and safety tip. Who do we got next week, Ruff?
I was just going to mention that next week is the holiday. It's July 3rd is a Thursday. So it's been a little tough to fill that spot. So we might have to figure something out this week. We have some time. After that, we're booked until September, basically.
If Davey Williams would call me, maybe we can film a show like on a Wednesday, a Rescue One show,
and post
Rescue One show and post it on a Thursday. If Davey Williams would call me, and we could do that with Hash Hagen. I already got Hash Hagen. I got Molay and possibly Joel. If Davey Williams come on, we'll do a Rescue One show. If he may be watching right now, I don't know. He could be. But anyway, anywho, all right, guys, that's all I got. Great guest, great career, Cap. Thanks for coming
brothers.
on.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy your retirement.
Oh, I got to ask you the question.
I was just going to say, I got to.
Have you had the dream yet?
It's a little
I've
early.
had a couple of repetitive dreams.
Is it the one where you can't find your bunker gear and you get
one
a run?
that I have no gear and I'm on the rig.
Bam! Everybody has it.
Everybody has that. That's amazing. And another dream that I've been having is
Was
that
it dry?
I call myself and make myself available for overtime.
That's not a dream.
Excuse me, I call a division and
that
make
really
myself
happened.
available. And I realized
available. Yep, I'll take it.
Put me on the list.
I realized that
money.
I can't work
Even the
overtime.
mandatory list.
I got no gear.
That's it, man. I have no gear. I got to run. Every guy I talk to.
Isn't that weird? That's weird.
Repeated dream. I still have it. I'm out 10 years. I still have it.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
And I call work and I make myself available for overtime.
I'm available. Money.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to pay me, but I'm available.
Right. Excellent. All right, guys. We'll figure something out for Thursday. Until then, stay low and go. Thanks for tuning in, and take a couple shekels out of your pocket.
Thanks, Cap.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
We'll see you at the big one, everybody.
It was an honor.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Oh,
We're rolling heavy in South Florida. Enjoy.
I love that.